Amazon is a multinational country. I guess they have enough users to kind of consider themselves a country, but I mean company. All right. They're a multinational company that does business in all of these countries, right? They have to worry about paying taxes kind of in all these countries. So I would expect that there could be some type of lag, maybe, where they have to basically skip a year paying taxes. There could be a lot of I don't know, maybe they have money stored in 1031s. Maybe they've bought smaller companies and then they have all that money stored in a 1031 to be used for another commercial thing. So that money is not getting taxed because you're using that money specifically, at least 95% of it for another business venture. That's another tax shelter, I'm guessing, that is probably being used by Amazon. But guys, I'm guessing they're running either a S corp or a C corp. And if you understand what that is, that's why they're not paying taxes, basically. Right, to the depths of me, I understand it, and that's why they're not paying taxes. Do I fault them for it? No, not really. I do think that they're so big that we have gotten to the point where I'm not sure we can exist without them, even though I think we should have something that can at least compete with them. So maybe all the users that pay for Prime, right, will probably start getting their packages on the dates that they're actually paying for. I'm just going to go ahead and point that out also. Right? We do need some type of fair business play when it comes to Amazon, and unfortunately nothing is there that can compete. And I would say personally, until there is something, I have no problem with them doing this, bro. But how about this? No, I have a little problem because I pay a lot of money in taxes. I've never gotten money back in taxes a single year I have filed taxes. Okay, and that's very unfortunate. Okay, I see everyone else get money back. I don't get any money back, right? So I do wish my taxes were lower. I was going to be honest here. I do wish my taxes were lower, but they have been lower since we have actually switched over to a S corp for this channel. So we're good now. But there was a time where taxes were absolutely disrespectful. Okay, they were disrespectful, and I'm like, bro, what am I getting back from my tax money that I'm spending every single year? Nothing. I still have to pay for everything, bro. Disrespectful. But all right, let's get it. The name of the video is how Amazon paid zero federal tax, guys.
Amazon is a very sophisticated tax player.
Amazon is very much the canary in the coal mine.
They're really doing what a lot of politicians wish more companies would do.
Okay.
Amazon is a huge company, but do you know just how huge it really is?
We start with amazing Amazon. Somewhere CEO Jeff Bezos is smiling.
It's one of only 2 U.S. companies to ever reach $1 trillion valuation.
No one in history has become as rich as quickly.
And I'm guessing that was obviously a legitimate $1 trillion valuation. It's not like you starting an S corp or a C corp and then setting your share price to a ridiculous amount of money because your father invested $500 into one share, and now each one of your million shares are worth $500 once you get that verified and things. You're probably going to go to jail if you do that. Don't do that, by the way. Don't do that. But the point is that this is a legitimate $1 trillion corporate evaluation. That's nice.
Made Jeff Bezos the richest man in the world.
That is 100 million Prime subscribers globally.
And if you put those Prime subscribers...
And our packages are still late.
...in one country, it would be the 14th largest on the planet. The planet. But that massive company paid no federal income tax on more than $11 billion in profits in 2018. And somehow
they operated at a gain, not a loss, and you still didn't pay taxes? Wait a second.
Got a $129 million tax rebate.
Okay.
So how do they do it?
Go ahead. Break it down.
The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act is passed.
First, there's the tax bill. President Trump's signature tax legislation lowered the corporate tax rate from 35% to 21%.
Corporations are literally going wild over this.
That immediately...
I will say, this year, I made the most money that I've ever made in my entire life that year.
Immediately slashed Amazon's potential tax
when he did that.
burden. Then there's Amazon's...
But it doesn't change my overall opinion on this man, though. Just be fully aware. But I did make more money.
...savvy use of revenue. Amazon plows large portions of revenue back into itself to cultivate long-term growth.
Amazon has actually been self-funding for several years now. The company generates significant free cash flow. You know,
this
one
is
of the things
why
I like about Amazon, this is a company that doesn't really kind of rest on their laurels and is constantly trying to innovate, is constantly trying to meet the needs of the customer.
This started early on.
Okay, yeah, guys. So what it sounds like is basically everything is being stored into some type of 1031, bro. That's what it is. I'm guessing they're buying companies, selling companies, things like that to basically get large, like liquid assets, and then storing that liquid asset into like a 1031, and then utilizing that to reinvest into something else. At least 95%, right? That's probably what they're doing, guys.
With Bezos
what it sounds like
using the strategy to get big fast, helping Amazon eclipse its once arch rival, Barnes & Noble. Since then, it's helped Amazon gobble up countless other retail markets as well, embark on lucrative ventures like Amazon Web Services, and even become a Hollywood studio with shows like The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel and Jack Ryan. Amazon has invested so much revenue in itself over the years that sometimes it didn't even make a profit. And when that happened, it could carry forward losses to write off on future tax bills. In 2018, those carry forward losses eligible for federal write-off amounted to $627 million.
Right. Well played, Amazon.
Then
well
there's
played.
massive federal tax credits, which the company reports are primarily related to research and development. From its AI-assisted logistics network to its suite of consumer electronics products, Amazon has poured tens of billions of dollars into research and development over the years. But that's not the only tax credit Amazon qualifies for.
The big one last year was the expensing that is allowed for investments in plants and equipment and buildings and things of that sort.
Trump's Tax Cuts and Jobs Act supercharged this credit.
Well, that is a big, ridiculous signature.
A perk that Amazon has cashed in on. The idea behind the expanded credit?
The big problem with the U.S. economy is that it has not been as productive recently as in the past. And so one solution, which would help sort of companies everywhere, is if they invested more in machinery and training to make their workers more productive.
But not everybody buys into this reasoning.
The tax breaks Amazon is getting, they're being rewarded for what they were going to do anyway. Because when you're a company as successful, as profitable, as cash rich as Amazon is, you make investments when you have the money to do them and when you see the need for those investments.
In 2018, Amazon had about $1.4 billion in total available tax credits. Finally, there's the company's use of stock-based employee compensation. Basically,
bro, can some of the little guys get some tax credits, please? Right? I mean, us like lesser corporations, guys, can we please? I beg of you. Oh my!
Allows Amazon.
Imagine $1.4 billion in tax credits, bro. Share, okay? Stop playing with us, all right? Us business owners need help.
And to pay employees using stock, and then take the value of that stock off their tax bill.
Amazon rewards its employees, especially its executives, with stock-based compensation.
That's how you want it. All right. Like if your job has the ability to give you stock-based compensation, take that immediately. All right. Listen, pay me $1. Okay. I don't care. As a matter of fact, I want you specifically to pay me $1 through W-2, please. I make $12 a year, please, and then give me the rest in stocks.
Amazon stock has been rising fairly substantially for many years.
That's how you do it.
And so the size of that stock-based compensation is now very large and affords Amazon a large write-off.
Right.
Some say the federal government ends up making just as much in the long run from stock-based compensation because the stock is taxed when it's sold. But others have concerns because of the major difference between the value of the stock when it's offered to...
But I mean, listen, the thing about this is that make sure that if your corporation allows you to get stock-based compensation, basically hope for a dividend stock. Like, so if the stock is not like dividend oriented, then I don't know if you really want to do that, right? I mean, you're still not selling the stock, but they are in fact paying your brokerage at the very least the dividend, which you can take out, right, without actually selling the stock, and then there you go, money.
Employees versus the value.
This is not financial advice. I have to say this.
When it's written off.
They give executives the right to purchase a certain number of shares of stock at a set price. The price of the stock goes way up. The company is then allowed to write off the value of that stock.
Right.
And suddenly the tax breaks can be huge.
Amazon deducted about $1.1 billion from its tax liability using this method in 2018. So that's how Amazon secures such a small federal income tax bill. But before we get ahead of ourselves, we should probably remember that Amazon does pay certain taxes, like state taxes, local taxes, other federal taxes, and international taxes.
Right.
In a statement to CNBC, an Amazon spokesperson said, Amazon pays all the taxes we are required to pay in the U.S. and every country where we operate, including paying $2.6 billion in corporate tax and reporting $3.4 billion in tax expense over the last 3 years. The company also touted its investments and job creation in the U.S. But according to data compiled by the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy, Amazon had an effective federal tax rate of just 3% over 10 years. That's far below the once 35% corporate income tax rate in the United States, and even the new 21% rate now. And
guys, this is kind of why I'm surprised that all of these like super mega corporations, I'm surprised they're even still in the United States of America, bro. Being honest, like why would they be here? Like I understand, listen, still keep the factories here employing people, absolutely. But the head office should probably move to Ireland or Dubai. That's it. That's all I'm going to point out. But, I don't even know what I just said. Disregard that.
And Amazon's story is not exactly unique. Another disruptor, Netflix, and even a more traditional auto company, General Motors, both report expected net federal income tax benefits in their 2018 annual filings. When we asked Netflix about it, the company highlighted the $131 million it paid in taxes total, but wouldn't break out its federal bill. It all seems to be part of a larger trend. Over the past 70 years, we've seen a decline in corporate income tax revenue as a share of the larger economy. And in the last decade, companies as diverse as Southwest and Gold...
But I'm also thinking that's probably the reason why, right? If that makes any sense. Like, if it's getting lower and lower and lower, the only thing keeping these corporations here is if they were to lower it to at least be as close as humanly possible to these other countries that will easily house the corporation for nothing, right? So instead of this... So if you tell a gigantic corporation like Amazon, hey, listen, your tax bill this year is 31%, what are they going to say? Bye? Like, why would they stay here? For what reason? For what reason would the Amazon home office stay here and pay 31%? 21%? Why? I have no competition. What are you talking about? I'll literally go to Ireland. I'm telling you, right? How much am I paying in taxes now? Oh, you said 1%? Okay, I'll stay. I'll have to move now. I'm telling you guys, Dubai, the same, right? So you basically have a couple of, unfortunately, they are in fact holding things hostage a little bit, guys. They are, right? They're saying blatantly, listen, if you want us to stay here, remain American, and remain all of these things, then you're going to have to play ball, and that's kind of what it sounds like. That's that's happening here at least.
Goldman Sachs, just to name a few,
and they're lowering
have all
it just
had
to play
at least
ball.
A year where they reported net tax benefits in their SEC filings. But could lowering America's corporate tax rate actually make it more competitive for companies to do business here?
Yes.
I think what a lot of economists would say is that the corporate tax is a very bad tax. One,
that's why they leave.
A global economy where economic activity is everywhere. You have other countries cutting their tax rates. You want to sort of incentivize
I'm telling you.
Economic activity to be in your country. What do you want these companies to do? You want them to invest in new machinery. You want them to invest in their workers. You want them to have more profits, which then they can use to invest more. That's what you want corporations to do. You don't want corporations necessarily to be paying lots of taxes, or that's not what they're there for.
Others say it deprives the country of much-needed tax revenue without a lot of benefit.
And that's real, too. It does. It absolutely does. But you have to understand here, guys, how do I say this nicely? The politicians have to, like, save their face, if that makes any sense, right? Like, they have to have something to kind of promote as American made, right? This was made in America, all these things. They mean stuff to us as Americans, right? And the only way for them to do that is to keep the companies here because, again, how much money would Amazon have if they didn't have to worry about the corporate tax? Now, is it depriving the people of crazy amount of tax money? And maybe that would lower my taxes specifically, or like lower people that are in similar tax brackets. That would be an amazing thing, to be honest. Here, lower these taxes. It's crazy for like this a specific tax bracket, guys. That's like, okay, you're not this, but you're also not that, right? That tax bracket right there is evil. Okay, it is an evil tax bracket to be caught in, guys. I'm telling you. And that one right there needs to be lowered. And I know it would be lowered if these large corporations were actually paying things, but at the same time, these large corporations would instantly leave. They're gone, guys. Why would they stay? Why would they stay? To pay a tax bill of 20% or 30% more? No. You're going to have to give them 1.5% taxes. That's it. Right? Are the American people being deprived? Yes. But we need to be real about the situation. It's either you raise their taxes and then they leave because they're going to, period. They're just going to go, right? And then we're not even going to get that 1.5%. So where do we go from there, guys?
May yet succeed in this experiment of lowering our effective tax rates and our statutory tax rates to draw more business to the U.S. But so far, we're not seeing the type of level of growth in business and investment that would make up for the lost revenue when we lowered our tax rates from 35 to 21. So yeah, it's an issue because we need the money.
As of 2017,
I understand
the U.S.'s corporate tax revenue as a share of the larger economy was lower than most other peer nations, ranking.
Yeah, but our W-2 is higher for nothing, right? So, like, I get I get it, bro. But the problem is that there's other things that involve things. Like, so for example, a corporation stays here, lower, and you guys lower the taxes for the corporation, but now the people individually, their tax bill is crazy. For example, guys, I pay. Maybe 41% taxes yearly. Somewhere in there. I know it's 37. I know it's higher than that. Oh, no. Basically, I pay a lot of taxes. The percentage of my tax is higher in the United States of America than it is in Spain, right? So, like, in Spain, I get free healthcare, right? Free college. And when I say free college, I mean like maybe like $1,000 a year type of thing, and that's just generally for like books and things like that. So I guess it's still free, but either way, so you get free college, you get free healthcare, right? My son was born in Spain. Guess how much it costs for him to be born? Nothing, right? So that's the point here. What do I get in the United States of America for paying the amount of taxes I pay? Nothing. I get nothing, guys. And in fact, if I wanted to get health care, I have to pay for my health care. All of it. So with the crazy amount of taxes I pay in the U.S., I get nothing, and I still have to pay for the bare minimum that I would get in Spain? That's crazy, bro.
Below Italy, South Korea, and Mexico.
We're in a lot of trouble. We're facing $1 trillion deficits as far as the eye can see.
Ultimately, this means everyone else has to pick up the slack. That $2 billion
our taxes
is not paying will have to get paid by smaller businesses that don't have the wherewithal to lobby for tax breaks.
See the problem?
It'll get paid by middle-income families in the form of higher taxes in some way.
The reality is, this is how business has been done for years.
Right.
Corporations with savvy lobbyists on their payroll have found ways to convince politicians in both parties to leave loopholes in the tax code.
It's more like threaten, guys. They're threatening them.
So I'm a tax lawyer, and I drafted tax rules for Congress for 6 years. Multinationals have a very strong presence on the Hill. When I was there, we would meet every week with companies and their lobbyists. And I think the interest is disproportionate. I mean, every American, including every American company, has a right to petition Congress and to share their concerns with Congress. The trouble is sometimes those with the most resources have the loudest voice.
Right.
But business as usual may be changing, as average Americans have begun to wonder whether this bargain really benefits them.
It doesn't.
It's a question that came front and center during Amazon's hunt for a second headquarters.
Amazon has made it official. The online giant announced it's splitting its new headquarters into 2 locations.
Crystal City in Northern Virginia and Long Island City in Queens.
The company courted massive interest from hundreds of cities.
Amazon today saying they are bringing at least 25,000 jobs with an average salary of $150,000.
New York's governor and mayor saying the $3 billion in tax incentives they gave Amazon for an expected $27.5 billion in tax revenue would pay off big for New Yorkers.
That is the highest rate of return for an economic incentive program that the state has ever offered.
This certainly consolidates New York City as a great international tech hub.
Despite positive polling on the deal, a groundswell of New Yorkers vehemently disagreeing.
We want to make sure that they know that this community is going to stand up and fight against this deal.
Any politician in this progressive city and our state who's willing to hand up $3 billion to Amazon, that should be a career ender right there, period.
And soon, it all came crashing down.
Breaking news, Amazon canceling its controversial plans.
Now it will not build a headquarters in New York.
The world's biggest company just got sent packing thanks to an unfriendly welcome by New Yorkers.
Has the
Yeah, I'm sure that wasn't it, bro.
populist victory in the HQ2 fight changed the game?
Like, if you think this corporation cares about your opinion or you protesting, if you think they care, you're crazy.
I mean, it shows that everyday Americans can have more say in this country than the richest man in the world.
I mean, it's nice to think that. It's nice to feel that and embody that, but unfortunately, a corporation has no feelings.
Will it ignite a grassroots movement demanding that loopholes be tightened and the effective tax rate be raised all the way up to the federal level?
Okay.
We should not have a regressive tax system in which large, profitable corporations like Amazon pay nothing in federal income taxes.
I agree. Keep this in mind, guys. I fully agree. But they're going to leave. So what do we do here? Like, I mean, it's just a back and forth conversation. They're not going to stay. Why would they stay? Raise their taxes, they'll leave. Raise all these corporate taxes, every single major corporation is going to leave. And the people are going to be like, where all the jobs go? They're gone. They went overseas. They went overseas because they have a better tax rate. Corporations do not care about your feelings.
Or is it just a flash in the pan? As even President Trump, a frequent critic of Amazon, came
but that
to
hair
the
is
deal's
crazy.
defense.
I think it's a loss for New York City. And the $3 billion wasn't a check. It was a form of taxes over a period of time that now they'll never see.
Only time will tell. But one thing is for sure. It's quite normal for some corporations to pay no income tax to the federal government. Is that a normal you're satisfied with?
Guys, no one, I don't think anyone is satisfied with the fact that the super rich corporation doesn't pay any taxes. No one is satisfied about it, bro. But it's kind of like a necessary evil in the corporate world, right? I mean, you can say, well, let's go back to, everything being a mom and pop store. Guys, think of the innovation that some of these large corporations have come up with the amount of capital that they're basically holding in terms of the float. Right, like how much cash on hand these businesses have, their float, right? We can argue about it, but everything is regressive, right? I mean, you raise their taxes, they leave. That's how I've always thought about it, at least. That's the reason why we are where we are kind of in the country, right? Will it help their tax money? Absolutely. It will help for like the month that they will remain here, right? Their head office, at least. But, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, all right? But okay.